Ronald is Chief System Architect at System Fabric Works. He's focused on high-performance I/O during a 30-year career in computing. He's architected I/O solutions for HPC computing involving hardware, supercomputers, and a large number of commodity processors. Along the way, he's been instrumental in the creation of HIPPI and HIPPI 6400 computing standards, both as an author and as the ANSI X3T9.3 Committee Chair for Supercomputing I/O. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Ronald.
So I think that introduction just makes me seem kind of old here, more than 30 years of experience, but
30 years young.
30 years young. I find myself in the unenviable position of coming after two presenters who were just up here who had kind of meaty presentations, and what I'm going to talk about is a little more small and bite-sized, although still important in terms of moving Lustre's adoption forward. So there we go. So I want to talk a little bit about the barriers to Lustre adoption and how those are being overcome, and then talk about one in specific, which is integrating the other components that back up the Lustre system in terms of hardware and software into the monitoring that takes place. So until recently, and it's still reflected in the membership and the attendees that we have here, Lustre is pretty much focused on very high performance file systems. We've got representatives here, I think, from all the really big ones that do over 1 terabyte per second. And it basically was targeted at supercomputers. There wasn't any good reason why you would use Lustre for smaller configurations. The cost was too high. It didn't have a lot of capabilities that some of the commercial file systems had. And it took a lot of work to put in place. You needed experts to do so. And finally, what I'll get into more is that Lustre isn't completely integrated in terms of a solution. Lustre uses servers, it uses storage arrays, it uses switches, and those things are typically not reflected in the monitoring. You have to deal with them separately. So Lustre, as has been mentioned many times during this presentation, is trying to move into the wider world, into the commercial world, into other deployments. And there's a lot of things that are helping this. The new features coming out, particularly HSM, looks like an exciting one that may make this more suitable for a lot of places. New technologies and tools, the fact that people are using virtualization, lets you cut the number of servers down for your minimum Lustre configuration. There's new Lustre releases out there, and in particular the Intel Enterprise Edition Lustre has a lot of capabilities that make it a little less threatening to first-time users who don't have a staff of Lustre experts on payroll. And so in that case, you've got the ability to deploy using a GUI, you've got the ability to monitor using a GUI, and if you want to see that GUI, you can look in the break room where we've got our breaks and meals taking place. There's a live demo that Ziggy from Intel has up there that shows some of the monitoring capabilities in terms of usage, performance, hotspots, capacity utilization, and such. And what I'm here to talk about today is the ability to integrate additional monitoring capabilities to kind of cover those low-level components that underpin the storage that's in place. So obviously, at least I think it's fairly obvious, having a single pane of glass out there that lets you know what's going on with your system is valuable. If you've got one place to look for information, you're less likely to miss things that take place, errors that happen. You're able to monitor performance and what's going on with the system. That doesn't mean that you need to be able to re-IPI your server from a Lustre monitoring screen. But it does mean that it's nice to be able to get all the error information and alerts passed up. So we kind of draw the line in terms of capabilities. When we first started into this, we thought it'd be nice to be able to do everything in a single pane of glass. But in reality, the key features that you need are monitoring. And again, when I first started this presentation, we didn't have all of our work complete at that point in time. So this says integrating array management into Lustre. But in reality, it's much broader than that. There's no reason why the storage should get the better treatment and be placed in there, and not the servers, or not, say, a set of switches, InfiniBand switches in that. All of those things have the capability to be supportable within Enterprise Edition Lustre and to show up. So the one plugin that I'm going to talk about in particular today, and that's the first plugin that's actually supported for Intel Enterprise Edition Lustre, is for Netapp E-Series storage. And Netapp obviously is somebody who's been involved in the industry and the Lustre community for quite a while. It's got some big installations out there that I think everybody knows about, so I won't mention them. But Netapp now has their plugin available for Enterprise Edition Lustre. And so this plugin was originally done for WAM Cloud for their Chroma tool a few years back. And then there was some time that went by, obviously some changes as Intel bought the WAM Cloud group and brought them inside. And there was a different version that came out, and the original plugin had a few changes that needed to be made in order to run on that. So Netapp and Intel kind of got together and decided they wanted to make this happen, didn't have the in-house resources, and so they funded System Fabric Works, where I work, to do this work. And we took on that project, not a large project. It's not like creating a native client for Xeon Phi or creating a whole file system like LFSS, or LPFSS. But we went ahead and did that work, and about 2 weeks ago we got that work completed, and so the plugin's now technically available, although you need to talk to Netapp in terms of if you want to actually get this. And of course, this only is going to be suitable for a subset of people, because you need to be using Intel Enterprise Edition Lustre to have the capability to use the plugin. And then you need to be using Netapp to have any benefit from using the plugin. So what I've got on the next few slides are screenshots. And since I've been sitting at the back of the room for the presentations and noticing that the text is too small to see, I'm sure these fall into that category as well. So I'll try and describe these a little bit here. What we've got in the system where we did these screenshots is just a single filer. And so this screen here shows you the filers that you have in the system, gives you a list of them. And then this screen here shows the volumes that are on there, and those volumes, we tried to give them names that made logical sense. So we have OST1, OST2, and then the MDT volumes and the MGT volumes. So we have basically your typical very small minimal Lustre system on that array. And what we're doing here is within the Enterprise Edition Lustre, you see across the top of the screen, there's the dashboard that'll show you the performance in the screens that you can see in the other room. But there's also a screen on here that lets you drill down and get down to the individual components using the plugins. And so that's what's shown on this one. You can actually click on, say, OST1, and it will give you a snapshot of current performance. So if you're not seeing overall high-level performance at the Lustre level correctly, you can go down to the storage array performance without leaving the tool, click on that, and see what type of performance you're getting on it. Probably the most valuable thing here in terms of, there's a few more screens here in terms of hardware. You can actually go down to the individual disk drives in the system, make sure all the drives are running normally, see if there's any flaws or any problems with them. But the most valuable thing, I think, from a standpoint of somebody actually running and operating a Lustre system, is you have notification capability. If you look, there's a little red dot there, exclamation point with notifications up at the top. That notification information basically tells you if there's some sort of alert from your hardware. And in a fully integrated system, if this were to be fully realized, you could actually see something from a server or something from a switch that would be telling you that you need to look at a problem that's there. This particular problem that we've got that's flashed up there is basically saying that one of the batteries has been removed. We have kind of an old filer at System Fabric Works, and one of those batteries is bad, so we pulled it out, and it's alerting us to that information. So then you can drill down, take a look at the information that's provided for the storage device and the plug-in battery, and it tells you that one of those batteries is missing. So that pretty much is the sum of the presentation that I've got here. This is, again, a fairly small thing. I mean, Lustre has been in that niche role. It's moving out into the wider realm of commercial and enterprise applications. For it to succeed in that area, it needs to be easy to use, and this is one of those things that's important in terms for ease of use, I think, is to allow people to use a common GUI to get to all the information that's relevant for managing their Lustre system. And I'd also encourage folks to consider whether or not there's other plugins that make sense in terms of network devices and server devices, as well as the other storage vendors have the opportunity to step up and add these capabilities as well. So that's it. Any questions?